Hey, how's it going? Today I want to talk about banking and overall finances and current interest rates and how expensive it is to currently borrow money from banks. I'd like to talk about a recent project that I had a chance of investing capital in. Uh, that project, based on current market conditions, a promising project. In the current crisis within the world, there's a number of different projects. Some of them are for-profit, some of them non-profit projects who are offering services to address some of the issues within the world. I was looking at the energy crisis and the energy prices, cost of energy, and was looking at the market, what are potential investments that anyone can make. And even that project is all depends, I guess, on how much risk anyone can take. But that particular project was offering 5% of interest rates based on the money. So just to give you a perspective, but that's not guaranteed, right? And everyone need to consult with his or her financial advisor before making financial decisions. But that project, even that, would to be considered a promising revenues, or with where all the world is moving, energy sector, right? That was offering 5% interest rates on your money. And some of the loans, in comparison, if a business were looking to take on the loan, right, they would be offering a loan, so that is 6% business cost of borrowing money and doing business. Yeah, just something to think of, I guess, when it comes to money and managing money. I would like to briefly touch on technology readiness level and what that is. It's steps that any business developing product or services needs to consider, and where those services or technology is and what level it applies to. Is level 1, level 4, level 5, or level 6, 7 is about to start scaling, and or is level 9 is fully developed and tested product or services. Just one of the factors to be considered when thinking about uh, where your project is and if it's ready to take on more risk, and consider taking additional capital needed to expand. Well, overall, that's one of the ways to look at the sector. Other way to look at it, if you just at level 1 and considering working on your idea or product or services. Perhaps taking on additional risk maybe it's not optimal decision for you to make right now. Perhaps better is to look for potential grants, and where who is offering grants and what they're offering grants for, and what kind of solutions you need to offer with regards to grant that can reduce your risk when you're looking at the market. That's one way to approach it. Uh, why it's worth mentioning or think about interest rate, since so many businesses offer loans that they can potentially take on the business, and some of the interest rates that currently have been offered, that's around 6%. It depends on the manufacturers, but to some loans can vary. It could be higher or lower. You need to take it to account what 6% really is, based on how much risk your business can take on to have working business model. That's one of the factors that I personally would look at. What's your uh, projection for next 4 years, and how you're gonna manage that loan for your business? Either way. Uh, uh, what is an interest rate? An interest rate is percentage of which a lender charges a borrower for use of money, typically expressed as an annual percentage rate. In other words, it's the cost of borrowing money or is the return earned on the investment. Interest rate can apply to various financial transactions, including loans, mortgages, savings accounts, bonds, and more. Interest rates are influenced by a variety of factors, including central bank policy, inflation, economic conditions, supply demand for credit, global factors, credit risk, time horizon. One more thing that I like to touch on is something that's called de minimis, is state aid finance that's been offered within Europe. At least it was offered at 200,000 euros for any business. Since UK left the EU, they currently looking to start a new process in place, something that's called state aid, where government bodies would be able to provide additional finance for any business, and it's 315,000 pounds for any business who are looking for financial support for that the finance that they can access provided by some of the government bodies. Just another area to consider. Then looking at the grants, that's just one way to go about the money. Usually there's a problem, and different businesses offering potential incentives to solve that problem. It can be government bodies, it could be different organizations, different countries. Not necessarily you should be limited to operating just in US, UK, EU. There are different opportunities out there for everyone who is interested. Then look at the grant. I would recommend take our time. Do not rush into uh, signing any paperwork with any organization. Take a time to read the contract and go over all the details and potentially put together a project plan for how you're gonna solve the problem in return, or how you're gonna use that money in return for a grant. That's one way to go about it. And how much of the finance would you need to put on? Would that be a match funding? Something that's called 50-50. You're going to need half of your own capital, half going to be provided to you. Or you're going to be looking for a grant that potentially is offering 100% of grant finance. There aren't perhaps that many, but there are options available even for that, that they would put on all the capital needed for a project to be completed. Yeah, so there are options up there. Uh, for anyone who haven't seen it yet, I have published a book called Game Strategy. I think it's a book that it's a must read for anyone who is interested in starting his own business and looking for information of how to do it and some of the things to consider and how to approach your understanding, at least have a plan in place or a strategy, how and what you're gonna be doing, how you're gonna do it, with who you're gonna be doing. Just some of the areas that I would recommend to consider. Some of the areas that I'm discussing within the book. I'll share a link for a book in the description. You can find it on the company's website, on places like Amazon and other places. Just to summarize overall finances and attitude when it comes to finances, I would always, when it comes to managing any project, finance would be one of the key areas to consider, and where the finance will, even if it's a business, if it's a project, and how you're gonna go about managing your finances, who gonna offer you finances. So you're gonna do it with your own funding, you're gonna borrow money, you're gonna apply for finance from perhaps different organizations. It's just one of the key areas to consider when it comes to finances and how to go about your finances and importance of managing your finances properly. I would definitely recommend everyone to take uh, finances very seriously when it comes to managing your overall goals. When it comes to finances, having a budget, perhaps starting small from your own personal budget, and see how you go about managing your own personal budget. And if you're doing great, perhaps take on perhaps a little bit more responsibilities, and see how you potentially be coping with that. If it's going to be too much stress, too much responsibility for you to take on, perhaps would you be able to manage 2 or 3 projects at the same time? How many budgets can you manage? Potentially managing your own time, managing finances, just some of the most important areas to consider when it comes to uh, overall your control over your time and what you're doing every day. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Thank you.